All right, let's get it. Back with another YouTube video. So, lately, what's been on my mind lately is just how important it is, honestly. I think to be patient, me actually finally locking in like on my diet, like really taking it seriously in ways I haven't before. It's made me realize it's going to take a lot longer than you think. But that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing because depending on, especially if you're starting a lot earlier than most people, that means, well, the results, but not even the results, that identity shift is going to come a lot faster too. And the way it clicked in my brain was because I really thought, I've been lifting for like 5, 6 years. And I'm thinking that's a long time. When you're around people that have been training like double, triple that time, you recognize that, oh, I'm still basically a beginner. And when I think about it, I mean, if it's been like a month since I started this new, decided to get lean, really honing on my diet, this compound over years is where the real magic will take place. And that's exciting because now that you know it's going to occur because you have the identity and your actions reflect it, you know it's coming. Now I'm not even worried about, oh, am I going to be lean? No, I'm already the leanest version of myself. And that has to manifest at a certain point. In reality has to catch up because it starts in your mind. Actions reflect it, your identity, boom, it's going to manifest in our world. So it's crazy how I've already actually detached from the outcome. Actually, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like it's cool, but I know it's gonna come because my standards now and how I view food have fundamentally changed. And as a consequence of that, boom, get lean. That's why I encourage you guys, especially if you're overweight, you gotta get you have to cut down the body fat because when you do that, you're going to reveal. It's funny, like you reveal the armor, you reveal the muscle, but you also reveal your true self and spiritually too. Because when you go through all that, you're gonna learn about the true nature of yourself. You're someone that can keep commitments to himself. That actually is disciplined, doesn't seek pleasure all the time, can resist pleasure, delay gratification. So when you start to learn about these things and you see that in yourself, that builds, confidence. I have it's like how do I describe it? It's like a calm like happiness, but you're almost proud of yourself. Like yeah, like every day I keep the commitments that I said I would. You do the right things. You prioritize your sleep. You're doing all the right things. Some people might call it boring, but I think it's great because it's peaceful knowing. Okay, boom, you got to go to bed early. That means you got to wake up early. That means you get to work out early, get your meals in early, hit your protein goal, and you do all these things. So by the time it's like 12 p.m. or like mid afternoon, you've already gotten a good amount of your checklist done, which is great. And you also something too, I think, from the journey of just bettering yourself, trying to be the best version of yourself, is you get okay being alone because you recognize there's gonna be people around you that either just don't get it because they don't do it, they don't inspire, they don't motivate you, or they just don't want you to get to that next point because it's gonna make them feel even worse about themselves. But you really get okay being alone, which I think is a good thing because when you do interact with people, there won't be this desperate energy because you actually don't need them. They either amplify or improve you, or you're not going to interact with them because you don't need them. And I think that definitely gives you a power that not many people have. And that's the best part too. This mindset, dangerous, but in the good way, because it makes you're okay being alone. You can keep commitments to yourself. You're not going to fold at the first sign of hardship or pleasure. And those are traits I think as dudes, men, we have to hone and make sure they're in their sharpest state possible because the world will try to pull you in all these directions, the drugs, all that stuff. They're trying to distract you from seeking your purpose, distracting you from the mission. You have to put the mission first always. So I always bring up Aaron because I'm rewatching Attack on Titan, but you got to keep moving forward on some Aaron Yeager shit. Even that too. If you're someone, I'm sure there's some people here I watch anime, but for me, you can, if you read Atomic Habits, he talks about it too. You take something that you need to do with something you want to do. So for me, boom, after I hit my protein goal, an episode. Usually, yeah, because usually I'll watch some during lunch, but like an episode, boom, that's a good way to reward myself. And it's a lot better than doom scrolling on your phone too. That's the thing too. Like anime is also very spiritual. Like these characters, they go through really hard things, but they choose to be better. They choose to seek the answers out themselves. They're actually doing things. That's why we're also motivated by them. But the biggest thing for me has just been, you just have to start. You don't have to know the answers. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. The key is just to consistently show up and do. See, for me, it only recently clicked how important the actual diet part of of this whole journey is. The diet is actually the most important thing. It's really 80%. But if you genuinely take care of your diet, you're hitting your protein goal, you're avoiding the terrible foods, that's gonna bleed into the gym. Better sleep, better recovery. It's gonna make the gym easy because your body is in its ideal state, to push itself and gain more muscle and do all these things. You also have the drive from higher, testosterone, lower estrogen, and all these things. So it puts you in that prime ideal state because sometimes I think, wow, the gains I've made since I've really started to take this stuff seriously, it's actually insane. And it's exciting knowing that this is the norm, like this is the standard. Because again, remember, you're only going backward or forward. That's why I'm always saying you have to figure out what the bar is. But it's really simple. If you consistently, it's very simple. You get between 8 to 10,000 steps in. You hit your protein goal. You don't eat goy slop and all this bullshit foods. You hit your protein goal. Point 0.8 to a gram. You weight lift. 4 to 5 days a week. You're on your SR grind. If you're doing all those things, you're likely going to be doing other passion projects on the sides too. But if you just really break it down to the basics, you're getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep, of course. If you're doing all those things, everything is going to work out because what you start to recognize is so few people actually see what changed for me was, I actually understand what it means to be locked in now. See, you eat okay for 6 days and that one cheat meal, you're not actually locked in. But it took me hearing that from people that are like actually locked in, and you see it because their physique, they mock everyone. But the physique is more so a consequence of their mindset because they choose to better themselves daily. They keep chasing self improvement. It makes them have mastery over what they eat, and that reflects in you having a very low body fat percentage. That's why it's important you track. See, I was having this conversation actually with a very good friend, and the key thing with this whole journey, the whole self improvement thing, it is innately spiritual. Delayed gratification is spiritual too. The gym, hitting your protein goal, all these things, it's not about putting on as much muscle as possible. It's more so you can keep commitments to yourself. You can delay gratification. You can keep pushing yourself to be the best version that you can be. And that manifests as with the physique, you know, with a body that most people can't attain. The whole Socrates quote, excuse me. It was a shame for a man to grow old without knowing the strength and beauty of which his body is capable of. I think that's why the whole lean is law thing is so important because the beauty part comes from you reveal the armor. Because, and I'm starting to see it too, now that I'm essentially a month into the cut almost, but you don't have as much muscle on you as you think. But when you cut down, I guess as I start to cut down more and more, I'll appear even larger. I understand that from the actual like the whole V tipper thing, but as I'm going through it, start documenting more on that too. But it's definitely been an interesting journey so far. But I'll say the biggest, it's not even surprising because it's happened before, but as you start vibrating higher and higher, your mindset, the way you view things, even past situations, you're just thinking, wow, like there's no way I allowed that. Never again. But you can laugh at it because, you have to go through things to learn, but you're able to start viewing reality for what it is. The people around you, I look at them and think, okay, what are they doing? Not what they say, what are they doing? And once you recognize, oh, it's pretty simple, just view them for what they're doing. It's also really simple, but when you're not aligned, it's impossible to see these things. Like you have to get to a certain point, and then you can see it, and it makes sense. Because some of you guys listening probably still don't understand the whole gym thing. That is, it's not a physical journey. Like it's innately spiritual, but you have to do it. And I mean, for a while. Because for me, I mean, it took 6 years. I would say 5, 6 ish years to I would say like, oh, I get it. Like I actually understand what they mean when they say that. Because you see how your standards have improved, and that manifests in a few ways. But usually, you start to get more and more alone. But you become actually content in being alone. That's where the power comes from. Like you're actually okay being alone. You don't need another soul. You're content. That whole monk mode stuff, I thought it was nonsense. I'm like, no, like it's you definitely have to go through that phase because you have to be truly okay being alone. And I think that's something very few people can do. Like actually be alone 100%. So you have to continue on the journey. That's the biggest thing. It's just not quitting and then keep going forward. Keep moving forward. It's man Jaeger shit. You got to keep moving forward because I'll say there's maybe milestones. People call them canon events, but breaking up with your girl, the heartbreak. You might lose a family member. You grow apart from a friend. You have to cut someone off. These are all things that are just consequences of vibrating higher and higher. But when you cut these people off, don't even think of it as oh, this sucks. Think of it, oh, you're creating room for actually locked in people to start manifesting because you're going to have the time now. Because when you get to a point where your routine is so, you start thinking, oh, well, I'm not going to sacrifice this for anyone. Especially, and that's the biggest thing too. For me, I'm like, man, wow, she's got to work out. And I mean, actually work out because if she's a foodie, I'm so good. Like I don't eat potatoes. I don't want to be around someone that eats potatoes. That's stupid. But that's how your standards get, where you won't even entertain someone that's. Can we go to Wingstop or Crumble or Canes or whatever? But you're just like nah. And I was like that before, but now I'm like nah, absolutely not. Just this is to die first. If they call you crazy, that's good. You don't want to be around them. Anyone calling you crazy, they should be in. That's the thing. If they're like, oh wow, damn, you eat the same meals every day, like that's so cool. Like I want to do that too. Okay, green flag. If they're like, what about the variety? What about the cheat meals? And you're just like, nah, you don't want to be around that person because they just want you to be mediocre like them, and I don't want that. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like respectfully, go away. Your coworkers offer you some goofy shit at work, you're just gonna tell them no because in your mind you're thinking, absolutely not. I can never. Like I don't want to lower my standards for that. You have some gummy worms for it to fuck up your stomach, make you lock out completely, so you can't focus at work. It's not even worth it. Then for acting the brick on your face, that's the biggest thing. People love to they'll tell you, oh, it's so hard to be healthy. You literally get rewarded for eating this way. I get rewarded. It's crazy. I'm telling you guys, like, well, my sleep's very like locked in and controlled, but you can get 5 hours of sleep, show up to the gym, boom, still at a PR, like no problem. But when you take it seriously, you can get away with things like that. Now most people can't because they only get 4 hours on sleep on average. So yeah, they're always gonna be chronically tired, or they're smoking. That's another thing too, man. People will, oh my god, guys, you guys don't get it. The cope that people that they'll tell themselves. Oh my god, you guys! Like, I had one friend. She literally told me, "Yeah, TikTok says smoking is not that bad." I'm just like, what? In what world? Everyone knows smoking. Well, maybe not, but yeah, if you're smoking, that shit's fucking up your sleep. I don't care if it helps you fall asleep. It's fucking up your REM sleep. If you don't know what REM sleep is, that's part of the problem. But the code people will go to justify the bad behaviors and the seeking the dopamine is you just know they're cooked. That's why you can't listen to them. You can't. They'll find every way to keep doing the bad habits because it's uncomfortable. See, when you're not smoking, you're not drinking, not doing any of those things, you're forced to deal with yourself. You're forced to sit with yourself, which many people can't do. So you have to hang out with that person because they make you feel good in the moment. But you can't sit alone at home and just think and sit there, reflect, journal. That's why you gotta do all these things. See, I'm finally starting to get, yeah, everything that they talk about, the journaling, the reading, working out. There's a reason people are telling you to do these things. You need to fucking do them and stop avoiding it. Because if you genuinely do them, if you really do it with intention, and that's the thing too, like with intention, you're intentional because that's the trap. You're doing everything right. You're following the right workout split. You're working out 6 days a week, but you're not eating or you're not sleeping. You got to be intentional in all aspects. You're only going to be rewarded when you do everything diligently correct in all aspects with this health stuff. You can't skip any of them. They're all important because they all bleed into each other. Because someone that can work out consistently is definitely going to be more likely to eat certain foods, but not always the case. You might have this split identity, but you have to commit to a side. That's the biggest thing I would say. You have to pick a side. You can either be the good guy or the bad guy, but you're essentially the bad guy now because remember, your very existence as you get more and more locked in, it's going to threaten people. Oh, I can't say I'm busy because that person works way more than me, so I can't say that. Or I just wasn't lucky. Dang, that person literally like they lost someone or that girl cheated. They have every reason to destroy the world and they're more locked into me. That's what you recognize that there's no excuse. There's really no excuse. You just recognize that your standards are too low. And once you recognize that, you boom, you just start doing. And you're gonna do every day, boom, every day show up, go to sleep early, you wake up early, you get your lifts in, you do all these things. And it becomes a lot easier because you have that identity shift. You think, oh, this is easy. I've already been doing this. You're just progressively overloading, your habits. Yeah, I've been eating the same meals basically for a year now. Oh, now I'm just eating a little less of that. Okay. And then no more crumble and Wingstop once a week. Boom, just cut down completely. Okay. It's not that deep. I actually feel better now doing this. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep doing this. I don't really see a reason to go back to that old self. And then boom, you just kind of go from there. I think next week it'll be a month since I've eaten the same meal. So a ground beef bowl for dinner, boom, some eggs, Greek yogurt, some milk, fruits. That's it. That's all I've eaten basically this month, and that's gonna be the standard going forward because I really want to push this to the limits. See, anyone that's seen David Goggins, that nigga, that's the goal. That's one of the coldest motherfuckers on the planet. That the whole stay hard thing, that shit's like he's actually like that nigga's insane. But you want to be insane. If anyone's calling you insane, that means you're doing something right. Because you don't want to be normal. Because normal people, they're not insane. You can't get these crazy things. You can't get that physique, that girl, if you're normal. Or if you operate off of conventional, methods. So if someone's calling you crazy, that's a good sign. Keep whatever you're doing, keep doing. I know people have told me, yeah, like there's no way I could eat the same meals. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing something right because you definitely don't want to be like that person that's telling you that. So you're doing the opposite of them. That's good. You know, that's why it's important that, your YouTube algorithm, your IG algorithm, make sure it's people that are helping you, vibrate higher and helping you lock in. Because otherwise, what the hell are you doing? But yeah, guys, stay locked. To the next one.